And now it's time for a spooky story. The story of the haunting of Amityville. But there actually are no ghosts in this story. There's something much scarier. A serial killer. The guy who made Amityville haunted in the first place. His name is Robert. And well, he had a problem. He lived in a house in Amityville with his family that loved each other. But that wasn't his problem. His problem was he couldn't understand why they loved each other. He was a sociopath who loved being on that stuff. That hard stuff. Boom, we jumping right to where it gets wicked. He runs into a police station and says, yo, somebody my whole family. Police said, who did it? He said, why are you asking so many questions? They said, what? He said, what? He said, it must have been that guy from the mob, Louis Fellini. Officers are like, why did he let you go? He said, what? Now, Louis Fellini was a real person. So an officer's like, hey, yo, I know Louis. Hold on, let me just call him. Robert said, no, you don't gotta do that. The officer said, no, I want to. Louis said, I'm not even in the state. The officer said, thank you. Robert, put your hands behind your back. They put Robert in a cell. The next day, he tells police that he's the one who did it. Now, here's where it starts to get wicked. Robert, his mom, dad, and his 4 younger siblings. But no one knows why. At first, the police thought it was because of his dad's life insurance, because the first thing he asked him was, hey, how do I collect life insurance? But it still didn't make sense because his dad is one thing, but his mom and his other siblings. So his lawyer comes out and tells police maybe there doesn't need to be a reason. Maybe he's just insane. In fact, his lawyer pleads the same thing in case. He says, Your Honor, look, I rest my case. Another psychiatrist walks in and says, yeah, sure, that boy look insane, but he also be on that stuff. He's definitely also a sociopath, but he was fully aware of what he was doing. It's hard to get away with insanity if you're fully aware of what you're doing. So the judge said, hey, how about we just call it second degree? Now, you usually get less time with second degree because that means you weren't planning it. It just happened. First degree means you planned it, you did it, life in prison. So his lawyer said, second degree, we could work with that. Robert said, okay, how many years is that? His lawyer said, life. Robert said, what? His lawyer said, it was 6 people, Robert. I did my job. And well, he gets life. He then does an interview and he tells the world, hey, I have the real story of what happened. My sister did it. He said, I wasn't even living with them. I was living with this lady named Geraldine. Me and Geraldine's brother, listen closely, her brother Richard went down to my house in Amityville to stop a fight between my sister and my dad. Things just got out of hand. Everybody, then her. Now, police take this kind of stuff seriously, so the court said, okay, let's get Richard and have him confirm your story. So the police went looking for Richard, but they couldn't find him. So they went looking for Geraldine. Remember, the person he said that he married. They said, Geraldine, Robert said you guys are married. She said, that's correct. They say, Robert said you have a brother named Richard. She said, that is not correct. So police found out that he made the whole story up. Richard didn't exist, and he was married to Geraldine, but many years after he did the judge said, Robert said, what? Judge said, go back to jail, what? In fact, Robert told so many lies, especially surrounding his sister, that many people actually believed that his sister did it. People actually begin to fight for him, and he gets an appeal for the courts to let him go. During the appeal, he tells the world, my sister and her friends did it. I told y'all, there was a book that came out that said there was residue on her nightgown. Everybody said, So a ballistic expert comes out, a person who's an expert about where the balls fly, and says, oh, there's residue on her dress because her at such close range. And here's the evidence to prove it. Everyone was quiet after that. He went to jail for the rest of his life.